Denny Hamlin.
Thank you.
Denny, how you doing?
I don't know. About like you think.
How have you processed the last little bit here since the end of that race?
Yeah, not much different. There's not a whole lot second guessing. I would say. I mean, certainly from my standpoint, there's just not much else you can do about it. So there's really not been any post-processing of what you could do different, because I felt like I did exactly what the format asked me to do and still wasn't right.
What do you and Coach and Gail do to debrief when, to your point, there wasn't really another option anyway? Like, how do you guys debrief that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably more kind of, I don't know how they'll do that. But certainly, the takeaways from JGR need to be that they did a really good job preparing me really fast car and giving me all the tools I needed to succeed. So, I've been there in other years past where it's just not been fast enough or good enough, and this was just a little different than that.
You told me going into it, you knew coming to Phoenix, you had taken every aspect of preparation to make sure that no one could say, hey, it was you. And when you look at what happened on Sunday, 4 times out of 5, 4 tires is the right call. You're able to come up the way Heim did. What made that race different?
Then Friday? I think a couple things. Obviously, competition is one of the big factors. The car versus the trucks makes it a little bit different, and it just happened to be there were so many cars that stayed out that that kind of definitely changed the game. So just circumstances, talent level, and cars is the only thing that was different, but obviously the result was a ton different.
Your girls were your biggest cheerleaders coming into the race. They were cheering Denny Hamlin. I mean, it was so cute, but then afterwards they came up to you and were equally crushed. How did you console your girls?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to teach them the life lessons that life's not fair. It's not, things don't always happen the way they're supposed to, but it's just especially for the older one, just trying to justify to her the outcome was difficult, and still hours later it was more trying to calm her down than anything.
Larson said that you came to his party. I was curious, why'd you go, and what was it like to stop by?
Just pay my respects. I would hope that he would have done that for me. I think he would have. He's been a great friend of mine. I hate for him that kind of the attention is shifted a little bit away from him and his championship, because he's definitely there's a difference in deserving and should have been, right? I think that there's not one person that should ever question his deservingness of being a champion. That's what I don't like to see. But I mean, he's a great friend of mine, and it wasn't me. I was definitely happy for him, but I was just trying to do the right thing as a friend, and regardless of my feelings and emotions. That evening, it was important for me to go show him support.
How long did you stay?
Not long, not long. It won't be as agonizing as having to sit through 2 hours of tonight. You can say we're the only sport that blank lots of things, but having to make the losers sit there and celebrate the winners is just one of those extra things that we have to do in our sport that's painful.
Is there any time where you felt this type of pain? Like, can you compare it to?
No,
I mean,
this
you
cut
can't.
is deep.
You can't compare to like 2010 or
No way.
anything. Yeah.
Not close. This one's deep.
Denny, will you allow yourself to sit in these feelings instead of telling yourself to get over it?
I don't know, as long as I have to. I think where I feel like I've gotten better with age is just, being able to move on to the next thing. But, I just can't. Like I say, in the moment, I can't imagine having to go through the process I went through to prepare for that race, doing it all over again. I don't just see others anyway.
So you'll embrace letting yourself feel however long.
Yeah, as long as it takes, for certain.
Can you imagine any other sport where Larson has mixed emotions about winning the championship? William Byron felt bad for you that he had a flat tire and took away your championship. Can you think of another sport where competition would be crushed for you?
Yes and no. I think that we're all just so close because we play the same team. We play the same opposition each and every week. So I think we get to know each other personally, and that probably plays into the factor of the person itself and feeling empathy for your competitor because you know them so well.
There's a concern on social media after your comments the other night that you might pull a Carl. Will you come back and race next year?
I mean, I plan to. I have a contract due, but at this point, there's just absolutely no way that I would even. I don't even think about race car right now. I'm gonna need some time on this one.
Will you be able to? I mean, I guess is 3 months enough time? Like, it's February 4, whenever the clutch is enough time.
I mean, the good news is the banquet's 2 weeks earlier this week, so the off season is a little bit longer. But I'll get over it. It's going to take a minute.
What will you do to unwind? I mean, what are you going to do in the next couple of months?
Yeah, I tried yesterday. I sleeping's not been good since Sunday. I don't know. Feel as though so much is off my plate right now because I do spend so much time working on my craft and stuff, and specifically Phoenix. Like I changed my driving style. I went into there saying this is what I think I need to do, and I'm gonna just change my habits for this particular racetrack. And so I feel like, gosh, there's so much freed up time now, where that was taking up so much time. And so, I don't know what I'm going to do. I try to spend more time with the kids, give them a little bit more face time, that's for sure.
Well,
Was the change that you made, was that result of running Bills and Briscoe Sims?
Yeah, it's studying who I think has been the best at that historically at that track, and then obviously going in with that approach, and then telling my team what aisles to go down to give me what I need. And so that process started obviously weeks ago, and to get it. It was difficult for my end, completely changing how I typically approach racetracks, but I thought that this was going to be the best way.
And obviously it worked.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It certainly was the best result I had at Phoenix in quite some time.
Denny, our parents always help us through difficult times, and you're in a situation where you're someone's son, but you're also a parent. So how have your parents helped you through this difficult time, and what have you learned from them that's helping you help your daughters through this difficult time?
Yeah, I think it's probably my family's level emotions. Like, when I walk in the bus and I see my mom and I give her a hug for the first time, like right after, she's just, it was essentially kind of the same reaction that I had in my post race, right? I think she was probably in shock as well, but she was just like, this wasn't meant to be, And so I think that they're really I think if they have strong emotions one way or another, that probably can funnel into me. But they do a good job of being pretty level. And, you know, again, my dad, you know, thought I was a champion well before this weekend, so I don't think his opinion changed much.
Denny,
But
have
how
you?
did they help? How did their reaction help you help your daughter?
Yeah, it was because, it's a great question, is because once I saw my mom and I talked to my dad, I then engaged with my kids. Like I saw them, you know, I saw them in the moment on the golf cart, but then it was like a little extended period of time. So then when I saw them and Taylor's still raising hell about, you know, everything that shouldn't have happened, it was just, I was able to model myself after them and say, you know, they didn't let it bother them too much. So I should try to, you know, keep that same level of emotion for my kids.
Denny, have you gone on social media or seen the outpouring directed toward you? How aware are you of the feelings of NASCAR Nation toward you at this time?
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at it, and obviously, you know, it's more pain. You know, I look at it for a little bit, and then I just stop because it does get into my feelings a little bit. But I love our fan base. I mean, I think that they certainly have been very, very supportive of me over the last, you know, really few weeks, and my fans for quite some time. But yeah, I'm a bit torn as well because I also my friend won the championship, and it's not being talked about that much. But I think that, you know, sometimes people have a tipping point, right? And certainly, was it that in my mind I did exactly what the playoffs asked me to do? I can't remember. I think the first time, and no disrespect to them, I don't think I saw them until the white flag lap. I can't remember a lap where he was ahead of me at any point of the race. And then I remember seeing him for the very first time right after we took the white and the dog leg. When I went down, I looked up, and because they told me on the backstretch with 2 to go, the 5 is pinned on the outside. I thought he was one of the cars I was clearing in 3 and 4. So when I saw him, I knew then that it was over. So I had only about a half a lap to 3/4 of a lap to say, oh my God, he's going to win. And so, you know, I think that's where the shock came from. It's just doing all the right things, and even like, you know, the pit road metric, like I felt like I did my job everywhere. And then even beat everyone for most of the, if not all the scheduled distance, but it just, we went longer, and unfortunately on that last lap, I saw my fate right in front of me.
What do you say about the conspiracy